Yo, I am at a loss for words. I really am. And it hasn't even been a full week yet. I think it's been like 6 days since I've come to you guys and made that video unboxing my new toy that I got here in Manhattan, Lower Manhattan actually. I live in Upper East Side, but I got the toy from like Lower Manhattan. I'm trying to remember what neighborhood that was. I think it was like considered Chelsea. Go back and watch that video that I made, you guys. Like, just not even a full week. I just came to you guys. Now, I do not have the toy here in this video. I'm not going to show it here in this video because I'm so disgusted. And I feel like it doesn't deserve the attention. It doesn't deserve to be here in this video. But when I say, yo, I just purchased this thing. I haven't even got like 3 good uses out of it yet. And okay, so this morning, right? I wake up and I'm getting ready to go and meet a few people to check out some commercial spaces. And I'm lying in bed because I wake up a little bit early. I'm lying in bed. And of course, you know, the girl feeling herself and all of that, right? I go whip out the toy. I turn it on. And after I turned it on, I would say like a few minutes. It wasn't even on, probably not even a good full minute yet. It starts to do this weird vibration. I'm like, wait, this isn't the vibration. This is not one of the vibrations, right? Because as you guys see in my review video, it only had one standard vibration, but it's multiple speeds. So I'm just like, why is it vibrating like this? So I turned it down, I turned it back up, and then I smelled something. I'm like, what is that smell? Like, I know I'm not cooking anything because I just woke up. I'm like, I know no one in my building, and so the smell got stronger. And I'm just like, wait, is it this? Also, I smell the vibrator. Yo, how about my freaking vibrator started smoking, okay? I'm like, I kid you not, I cannot make this up. My vibrator started smoking. I'm like, what in the fuck is this? I never seen or heard such a thing out of all my years of owning vibrators, yo. Like, I can't remember when I got my first vibrator. Maybe I was 18 years old. But I'm like, I never encountered such a thing. I'm so disgusted. Of course, sexually frustrated. I mean, granted, I still got my need met because I ended up just dumping that one. And I ended up pulling out one of my older vibrators. It was kind of similar to that one, but it wasn't my preferred choice. The one I ended up resorting to, but I'm like, oh my gosh. I think this is trying to tell me something. Like, what do you guys think this is trying to tell me? Because I feel like perhaps, and of course I can't take it back in for a refund or exchange because they don't do refunds or exchanges. I mean, for obvious reasons. So I'm just kind of stuck with this fucking defective ass vibrator, and I'm thinking like it has to be a significant meaning to this. It has to be a reason why this is happening. Perhaps, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like, maybe I should not be masturbating with vibrators. And of course, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of research about the harmful effects of vibrators. I ignore it because it hasn't impacted me. I mean, I haven't had any issues with using vibrators. Granted, I don't use a vibrator on a regular basis. I think this probably could be a misconception that people hold in assuming that just because a person masturbates and they're a freak or they do this like excessively all the time, when that's not even the case. Like, for me, all it takes is like, once I get that stimulation, once I get that orgasm, I'm not seeking that orgasm over and over and over again because my body is satisfied. In fact, it's kind of draining, I think, when you have an orgasm. It's like you feel a sense of satisfaction, But at the same time, like my body, like my need is already met. So I'm very relaxed and I'm just kind of drained, like I said. It's like a workout, you know, like once you go and get that nice, good workout and you release all of that energy, it's just like, so I'm good for another maybe 5 days, right? And if I'm busy, I'm not really thinking about sex. So it's not like I use this vibrator on a regular basis. In fact, like I said, I just had got this vibrator less than a week ago, and I only got maybe like 3 uses out of it at most, probably 2. That was going to be the 3rd, but yeah. So given that I wasn't able to use it this morning, I ended up resorting to an older vibrator that I owned, and I didn't really like it, but it did the job. It did the job, but then I'm still feeling like, damn, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this, because I'm already, like I've said this, I share this with my faithful followers, that I am kind of on a sabbatical and I have not engaged in intercourse for 2 years. Actually, this coming January, next month will be 2 years that I've maintained my abstinence from sex. I'm feeling good about it. It's not something that like I'm worried about. You know, it's like when you go for a period of time without engaging in a particular behavior, no matter what it is, it's just like it's kind of beneath you, right? So for me, it's not something that I crave. It does cross my mind, like imagining myself with the right person and being stimulated, obviously intellectually first, and then penetrated and it piercing the fibers of my being and just sending shivers up my spine. So that thought definitely has crossed my mind. But it's not something that I linger on, right? It's not something that I dwell on in terms of habitual thought. Because for me, what's most important, obviously, is that intimacy and that intellectual kind of spiritual connection, which I think is very difficult for me to like create with a person to have. I mean, I come close, but in order for that to be sustained, so I'm very careful, obviously, about who I invite into my personal space, my spiritual space, my aura, my sphere, and to that end, I don't mind being abstinent. In fact, I think it's more frustrating. It's more sexually frustrating to have sex with someone that you're not connected to and that is not satisfying. Like my last sexual experience was January 2021. It was with a Black Panther, or at least a guy who proclaimed to be a Black Panther. And I was not sexually satisfied. I just wasn't. Like he came quick. That's like the number one thing that I experienced. And I come on here and I talk to you guys kind of broadly speaking about these sexual activities, right? Such as cuckolding, which I don't partake in, but I find interest in exploring with you guys. And BDSM, which is my niche actually. I identify myself as a submissive. I like to engage in I like BDSM spankings, of course, within the context of an intimate relationship. And yeah, I like premature ejaculation, unfortunately, is a thing, a major thing with men, you know. And I remember making a video about this, and someone has the nerve to comment to say, well, maybe they just wanted to come very quickly to get it out of the way because the guy wasn't sexually satisfied. And I'm like, no, don't try to sit up here and reword it, right? Don't try to rewrite it. Like, no, that's definitely not the case. It's a big difference between premature ejaculation and a guy just rushing and coming quickly to get it over with. And that's the case, then why not? Why continue having sex? That definitely wasn't the case. In fact, like these guys come they're so excited that they come too quick. It's like they get theirs and they're done, and I'm not satisfied. And we're talking, when I say quick, we're talking about like less than 2 minutes. It's not even like, I'm like, what is this? But they're so anxious to have sex. And I'm like, I don't know if they have had, you know, a lot of experience prior to me when they have sex with me, but it's just like they are just so hyper focused on it, right? And they're so anxious and ready to get in, and then like once it's in, it's just like the explosion happens like momentarily afterwards. So yeah, with me experiencing that, I definitely have made a conscious decision. Just like, I cannot, because this is not. And granted, like that, I'm thinking about that experience back in January 2021 with the Black Panther guy. Like, I did like that there was intimacy, that obviously we wouldn't have got to that point if there wasn't some kind of intellectual stimulation, you know, and a connection there, a spiritual connection there. Like, we vibe on many different levels, most importantly having that spiritual connection, being able to kind of see each other eye to eye on matters that are very important, I think, to our identity as Black American people and our progression moving forward. Like, we connected, you know, and having those deep-seated conversations, being very reflective of what's happening within our community, you know, as a diasporan African, and the ways that we can move forward to address this. So that's like what connected us. And even like after we would have sex, yes, we would cuddle, we would, you know, just connect with each other on a physical level and listen to each other. So that was there, but it was just like, it was just like, it makes sense, because then you have guys who actually have good experience. Like, they are well experienced. They know exactly what they're doing. And it makes me think back to this encounter that I had recently with this Gambian. We never met face to face, but we had some discourse over messaging. We didn't even like have a phone conversation, because I didn't take it there. I wouldn't allow it to go there, because I was just turned off, because he was so hyper focused on the ideas, like asking questions and like bringing up the topic of sex. I mean, granted, yes, it's okay for us to talk about sex. I'm not opposed to it, but it's like it keeps coming up, and I feel like it's premature. Like, you're talking about this before we even have agreed upon a date, before we have even agreed upon exchanging phone numbers. Like, we ain't even at that point. We're just like a couple of days in on this dating app, messaging each other back and forth, and you're asking me about my preference and using condoms versus not. Like, that is a turnoff for me, right? Like, we're not even at that point, and it's not just related to sex, but it's other topics. I feel like, let's not jump the gun and talk about other things. But for that guy, oh my gosh, he had it set, like, he was a Muslim, African, from Gambia, West Africa, and he, you know, had admitted that he was a virgin and he hadn't had much sexual experience. And I'm thinking to myself, like, is this a guy that I can see myself with? I don't want a guy who's inexperienced, because those are the guys who usually come quick. Like, they're not getting that much action, right? Not to downplay those who got men who are more reserved in their sexual expression, but it's like, on the flip side, there's a downside to that, because, you know, they're sexually inexperienced, which means they have a very low threshold when it comes to excitement and ejaculation. It takes very little, right? And to me, that's very frustrating, because it's like they come so quick. That is the issue. They come so quick. They have not built up that tolerance, that stamina to go for, and we're not talking about having to go for hours. I think there's, like, sometimes you guys watch my videos and you kind of misinterpret things that I say. So yes, I talk often about big dick energy, right? And then you guys think that means it has to have an anaconda. All right, they take it to the extreme, and they're like, oh, well, you want a guy who has a humongous penis. It's because you're loosey goosey and your walls are loose, and it's just like, absolutely no. In fact, it's the complete opposite, right? A woman can be tight as ever, super tight and sweet and wet, but it doesn't mean that if she encounters a man who has a pencil fucking dick, she's going to be satisfied, because in fact she's not, even with the most tightest of pussy, right? So yeah, I just want to be made clear that yes, a woman's preference is a man that she can feel, who has girth in the size of his penis. Doesn't mean he has to be an anaconda. Alongside having had experience and having a reasonable amount of threshold of excitement so that he's not coming prematurely. Is that a lot to ask for? Then you have the guys who can't maintain an erection because they have erectile dysfunction for many different reasons, whether it's attributed to stress or attributed to them using substances, drinking alcohol, excessive amounts of alcohol, or some other drug that you didn't even know that they did, It's just like, damn, where are the healthy, freaking vibrant men who can sustain an erection, who can thoroughly satisfy? Maybe they're much younger. That's what it is, right? Because, granted, like in my age group, I'm 39 years old. That's typical. That's kind of like expected, right? For a man within my age group to experience erectile dysfunction. Unfortunately, not that he should, because there are men who are healthy, physically healthy, emotionally healthy, and they don't have those issues. But yeah, that's something that needs to be talked about, like men's health, and I think that is a prime way to gauge how healthy a man is emotionally and physically, just by looking at the strength of his penis, right? Is he coming prematurely? And you see it. It's just like, what the fuck? You got some men that come the moment they pull their penis. It's like, what is all this? What is all this wetness here? What is all this fluid? Like the moment they pull their penis out, they're done. Before they even stick it in, it's like, damn. It's like they demonstrate no restraint. And then, of course, there are men who have much experience and they can go. They know how to play the mind tricks, right? They know how to control. Like, it's all in the mind when you think about it, right? What happens in the center, of a man's being and his ability to be able to sustain erection and hold it without ejaculating to the appointed time, right? That is a reflection of the mind, what's happening in his mind, and does he even have that self-control, that ability to demonstrate restraint, right? I think it says so much psychologically where this man is. These men be so excited, heart beating faster than a motherfucker. Boom, boom, boom. And before you know it, boom, there's an explosion. It's just like, are you kidding me? But then, yeah, I can say that I have much respect for those men who, for them, what's most important is pleasuring that woman, because it makes sense. It's like they don't even get the basic mathematics of things. If you satisfy your woman, your female partner, you're going to get more, because she's going to want more from you. Simple as that. These men who you've given the opportunity, there's a chance, and they fuck it up. Like, that's the thing, and that's the most disappointing thing for me. So yeah, to that end, I'm just like, not having sex. I can't. It's too frustrating, right? And then I get angry at these men for nothing probably that has anything to do with anything but the fact that I'm not sexually satisfied, right? When a woman is sexually satisfied, a man can almost get away with almost keyword anything, right? Yeah, because I mean, she's fulfilled in that way, and it's deeper than sex. Which reminds me of this topic. I'm going to come back probably tomorrow afternoon, you guys. For those of you who are watching this and who have been following this whole debacle between Mr. and Mrs. The Truth, Brianna and Robert Hampton, I think it's very telling because I was watching the interview that he did with Tasha K, and I'm like, bingo! He said it right there. Tasha K completely missed it, but I'm going to tell you guys the real reason why they are divorcing, the real reason why their marriage has failed. And I think people missed it. People have completely missed the mark. And all the signs point to that, right? Come back in my next video, guys, and take a look. You guys will hear. And it's just, I feel like it's just something so basic, but it's something so important and so vital to the happiness of a marriage, a relationship, right? The satisfaction, especially when you're talking about a certain age. Like, we at a certain age where, yeah, sex is important. Now, when you get up in age, that's going to probably become less important. But now, like, that's how we connect. That's how we build intimacy and sustain intimacy. And if this is something that you're missing the mark on, but I'm going to highlight that part in the interview where it completely answers the question. Tasha K, I would think that she would have caught that and like addressed it because he said it, but he kind of said it like very subtly though in the interview, and I'm like, that's why you gotta read between the lines. And for me, I always look at the subliminals. I always listen to what's not being said, but said kind of so in your face, right? And it's unfortunate because someone commented on one of my videos and he said, yo, it's funny because some men get it. He said, like, yo, that's the reason why a lot of relationships dissolve. They don't last. And then my initial reaction was like, it's not true. It's not all about that. But then, yo, I wish I would remember like which video it was that he's commented on. Because I think I initially took offense to it. I'm just like, hold up. It's not all about that. But then know that it's true. And like I said, I can't like reiterate this enough. It's not about having a big dick. It could be average. In fact, average is best. That's optimal, I think. It's just about the function. Like they say, it's not about the size of the boat. It's about the motion of the ocean. What is the function? How is your penis functioning? How are you functioning psychologically? Because I think that's really the biggest attribute to the health, the sexual health of a man, just looking at his emotional and psychological health. It's a strong connection, I think, there that often is overlooked. But anyway, my poor vibrator. I think, yeah, I'm at this point, I am, I've become sexually abstinent, not engaging in intercourse. And I think I'm going to really like just go full blown with it and not even masturbate anymore because that's the most frustrating part. My DVD player is on. That's the most frustrating part about it. It's just like, if it ain't done right, why even bother? And then one may say, well, why not just go get like a quality vibrator? That would solve the answer. I could, because you think about the amount of money I spend on these little cheap ass vibrators, but I feel like the reason why I go cheap is because I only need it for that one particular function, which is like the clitoral stimulation. It doesn't have to be this like fucking immaculate device that I need to achieve the end goal of orgasm. It doesn't really call for all that. Some women say, oh, you should get the rose. But the rose, I feel like, this device is so intricately designed that it's doing too much. I don't even need it for all of that, It has a suction part to it. Like, I don't need that. All I need is a vibration. So that's the reason why I go low in price when I'm seeking out a vibrator. But, yeah, I just paid like $25 for that one. And then the fact that I haven't even had it for a week and it starts to smoke. Yeah, I smelled like it smelled like it was cooking. I'm like, what? Like, yo, this shit is smoking. If I would have kept it on, it probably would have caught on fire. That could have been a lawsuit. I could probably still could sue their ass, right? For damages. But why would I even want to go to that extreme? But I'm going to say this and then I'll wrap this video up, that I did notice, not on that particular vibrator. You guys can go back and watch my previous video to see the brand, the name of the vibrator that I'm talking about here in this video. But on another vibrator at that same store that I purchased this one from, I'm looking at the package and I'm like, it says that it could cause reproductive harm and cancer. Not this one, like I said, but there was a label on another vibrator that indicated that. And I'm just like, I probably shouldn't be doing this. And I get that there is a general consensus from a select group of people who are opposed to masturbation, saying that it desensitizes, that area down there, so that it makes it much more difficult for a woman's partner to pleasure her if she engages in masturbation. And yes, I understand that, right? I understand, like, that dynamic where, you can become less sensitive. I wouldn't say completely desensitized. I wouldn't go to that extreme to say that it becomes desensitized, but maybe less sensitized to stimulation. But then I think it fluctuates, right? The degree of sensitivity down there can fluctuate and go up and down depending on the frequency at which you engage in masturbation. Like I said, for me, it's not even consistent. It's very infrequent. It's very inconsistent in terms of how I go about it. First of all, I have to have the time to do it. And then for me, it's about my mood. It's about the time of the month. And there is a time of the month that I am more horny or I'm craving that stimulation than other times. And there are times where I've gone like months without masturbating, right? Because I'm so like geared and focused on something completely different. So I don't even want to play with myself, right? That's not even something that I desire to do. So it does fluctuate and is very inconsistent. But on that note, you guys feel free to share your comments below, and I will catch you in the next one. I love my outfit. I put this together today, this army fatigue and this green jumpsuit. I was looking like through my clothes this week and I was just like, I thought I had a green jumpsuit and I couldn't find it, and I'm like, boom, I pulled it out today. But yeah, I want to hear from guys. I want to hear from women. I realize that not too many women watch my videos. If they do, they don't comment. But from what my stats show on YouTube, that I don't have that many female viewers compared to male viewers. I don't know why. Maybe this is why I'm talking about things like this. But I would feel like women can relate to this too, though. So feel free to drop your comments below and let me know who you are so that I'll see who's watching my videos. Share this video and I'll catch you guys.